Welcome all and gather around. It's your guide, Xander McCloud, your host for 103.7 XZSA Dark Forest Radio. Come and embrace the forest. Well, my fine sapient friends and others alike, it is time for another story from the Outpost. For those new to this gathering of like minds, the Outpost is my humble little slice of paradise in this section of reality. I work at the only radio station in the Dark Forest, keeping the towns connected, informed, and entertained at night. What's Dark Forest, you may ask? Well, the forest doesn't like its secrets to be shared unless blessed to do so. It's where I come in. I'll share what truly lies deep in that dark forest, one story at a time. But for our first time listeners and those long time fans who live for a good story, I'll share how I became trusted with my little slice of paradise. The wind never rests. I say to myself after climbing up the tree, sipping my first cup of coffee for the day. I look outside to the dark forest and I see nothing but the same trees as I always do. Those big, black, almost hybrid looking trees cross between a pine and a Amazonian rainforest tree. The place smelt like dank, dark, deep, ancient earth, but comforting all at the same time. I always like to stop when I first get into the station and look around at the moonlight and just love looking at the stars, even in this hellscape on Earth. I look outside the station, as janky as it may be, it's my home. It's a nice little one room station, really. Essentially, take a flat and put some radio equipment in it, or a studio apartment, I should say. And you've got my hammock to sleep in, my little TV when I do have downtime to actually watch anything. I've been binge watching Demon Slayer on my time off. How rare that is. It's got, other basic amenities, shower, toilet that somewhat works, decent food. This colony brings me food every day, so I have fresh food. It's nice. Then, you know, there's a kitchenette where I can cook everything. But where I really shine is my radio station. It's a nice little desk that sits in front of an observation window. And that window is the size of the whole building, from floor to ceiling. It's made with special polycarbonate glass that they say nothing can break through. I really haven't wanted to have that tested yet. And so my desk, I have my monitors. I've got my left and right, my center one, so I can keep track of all the colony's communications, make sure everyone's signals are properly, check on recordings, seismic graphs for anything unusual, and, simple things. I like to share scare stories when I work the night shift. Night shift, you ask if I already work here during the day shift. Let me clarify a few things. I am the town's only communications officer slash radio DJ, for lack of a better term. I work 6 a.m. to 3, and then from 3 to 10, I go back to my apartment and sleep, and then come back to the station, by armored escort, weirdly, which I've never understood. And I get in my station, and then for the night shift people inside the colony, I narrate and tell scary stories to keep people's minds off of things. I don't want to think about the stuff that happens here And this is not a place that I would wish anybody to come on. But here I am in the Dark Forest. Dark Forest. You're probably wondering why that is. Excuse me. I had to take take a drink of my coffee. I'm an espresso guy through and through. I like to have espresso and a little bit of cream. Perfect way to start the shift. Well, I work at that station, same station, 103.7 XZSA Dark Forest Radio. Gotta love a shameless plug. I'm a DJ after all. But the Dark Forest is actually ironically named back on Earth from a conspiracy theory called the Dark Forest, involving the reason that aliens have not made contact with us is there's something bigger and scarier out there. As far as I can recollect on that theory, I may be wrong, but for purposes, this is why we called it the Dark Forest. We're afraid to go out there to the spots where everyone's afraid. Sorry, I had a flashback there. I suffer from PTSD from fights as a former security guard in my old life. I worked PMC for a long time, took time in China and Mexico, Somalia. You know, oh, I was in Benghazi too when that happened. So, traumatic memories sometimes make me stop and just breathe in the middle of the stories. So, I apologize, dear viewers, for if you just hear me stop talking and just breathing hard. It's just it, and it's just my PTSD triggering, and I'm working to calm myself down. Also, I apologize for being awkward or having some silences in this broadcast. I'm also have ASD, and I'm quite shy. I know, be a radio host and shy. It's funny, right? But I like to talk about things that I'm really passionate about. And I love to read creepy pastas from Earth. I would like to backtrack, and I'm sorry to your viewers. Like I said, my ASD makes it hard to keep thoughts sometimes straight. But why I say Earth, the Dark Forest is a forest on Pluto. Pluto, I know, right? How we get from Earth to Pluto? Well, a long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars reference for you nerds out there, and fellow connoisseurs of Star Wars, back 3,000 years ago, in 2027, they discovered habitable life on Pluto, the Dark Forest, in one pocketed little area that was strangely enough terraformed to hold human life in this one specific, they say, 20 kilometer by 20 kilometer area. But if you step outside the area, you got to have a spacesuit essentially because of how much nitrogen is in the air. There's almost no oxygen on this planet except this one spot, and they can't figure out why. So that, whew, sorry viewers, more flashbacks again. Now where was I? Yes, specifying my job. Man, whew. You think after doing this for 20 years at this place you would get over the jitters, but even recounting this story brings back some memories. Thank you, viewers, for being patient and kind and sticking with me as this. I very much appreciate y'all, and I'm so grateful to hear y'all's voices and calls. Thank you for always being a part of DFR, Dark Forest Radio. So, where we live in this little section on Pluto is called Silentium. It's Latin for silence. Ironic, right? Being that silence is the scariest thing on this planet, but we'll get to that. It's got 500 people in a single massive complex that I wish I was remotely qualified to describe the engineering marvel that keeps us floating. It is essentially a giant dodecahedron that houses everything that we need, from food growing to health and medical to entertainment to living quarters to growing to gardens, our security, water, everything. I wish I could describe it, folks. It's man. Actually, the best way to take it is to take a D20 for those D&D players. Increase it by about 1,000%, if my math is right, and that's essentially what we live in. Except the coolest part about it, and it happens at sunrise. When the sun hits Pluto, it causes the sides of the structure to just shimmer. So it's like dragon scales. It's photoreflective scales on each panel of the dodecahedron that just reflect and adjust to the light. It's it's so cool. I wish y'all could see this every day like I do. It's one of my favorite parts. Now, where I live is about 20 is on the western edge of our little section where we stay, and I I debated for a long time what to call this the station of mine. I didn't want to be cheesy and just be communications office, and then I decided Dark Forest Radio because, as cliche as it is, it works. I'm quite proud of the station, how I built it, because the best part about it is the view. Like I said, it's also the scariest. I finally set my stuff in for that first shift, looking at all this technology, hollow pads with sensory nodes to allow me to type on everything that I need to type for. Oh, yeah, sorry viewers. A little nervous talking about the story. Thank you for being patient. My fingers hover over the sensor grid, moving rapidly over sensor pads to start up the radio equipment as the packet that I got, and by got, I mean I got to the treehouse this tonight, and there was a manila folder. For advanced technology, they still use paper things. It's baffling. I start up everything, and the dim blue glow illuminates my face as I look over all the screens, checking my equipment before my sweep for any unusual sounds. Part of my daily duty before I start the radio is to make sure at night, when night hits the forest, that there's no sounds that would cause the alarms to trip. What those are, we'll get more into it. All my screens are looking good. Set my bag down next to my chair, slip off my combat boots, and put on slippers. Yes, I put on slippers every time that I broadcast. It is comfortable. Make my daily coffee. Like I said, I love my espresso with cream. And start adjusting the holo dial on the camera system. Once you get inside the radio station, you're not allowed outside unless It is to evacuate under a life-threatening emergency. It's the company's policy. And we use the hollow dial on the camera settings to focus in like a sniper rifle to examine the areas of the forest that we are asked to look at. I make my sweep causing the camera to move using the hollow pad. It flickers. Damn thing keeps going out. I need to order parts for it. And as I sweep with my coffee in one hand, the rifle I was given stands right next to the desk. The best way to describe this thing is like a, back on Earth, a bolt action gun, but with, special operations barrel. It's weird. I don't know how to. Yeah. Just actually, you take a 50 cal Barrett sniper rifle, and then you put an AR-15 barrel the size of a 50 cal barrel on it. Right. It seems excessive. What do I need a gun that big for? For the things I didn't know I would see out there. Man. Still gives me nightmares. Man. Anyway. Sorry. Sorry, viewers. No flashback. Night rifles, barrels engraved with special symbols. A cross between Japanese kanji and Nordic runes. It's apparently been the rifle that's been here since this station was founded. The stock's got the same kind of runes with it as well that make sure I never miss. The bullets are made with things I'm not even allowed to know. I just know I have a vault with 1,000 of them, and I have to log every time I take it out, when I load it in the gun, when I fire it, and when I eject it, and what I shot, and how I hit it. Things out there. The beast. Oh my god, the beast out there. No one would tell me I'd see panther looking beings that were as long as a bus, covered in scales, with a single curved horn going backwards that looked as sharp as a diamond cut blade, and those hunter eyes. The kind of eyes that know that you're prey, and that look at you and know they're gonna get you. It's not the first time I've been in a situation like this. When I get that feeling making my sweep, I see those things. We don't even know what to call them. Anyone that's ever tried to get one of these things is dead. Though I've been picking around an idea. I thought I would call them, funny enough, hornhounds. It's lame, I know, but it works. And they say there's other things in that forest. Things I'm not ready to see. But the thing about those bullets, coming back to it, they only slow it down. That's right, they slow, not stop. Gives me peace of mind and usually scares things away if I have to use it. It's pitch black from the outside thanks to the camouflage. Unless you have human eyes, this material that the station is made out of is not visible to anything on this planet. Something they say to do with our cones and rods and how they're built. I put my headphones in to start to sweep, and I just sit there and listen. Tapping like a drip of water, counting the beats of my heart as a ritual to focus, to breathe, to pace, to keep myself focused. I must focus. I repeat in my mind as I sit there and make my breathing ritual to focus and listen for the sounds. Always, always listening. Because once the sound of the forest change, that's when things get bad. It's a sound you can't hear, but only feel. Like the deep thump of the walls of your heart as sweat pours down your face as a predator stalks you from the shadows, not knowing its face is breathing down your neck as hot steam nails the coffin shut on your life. Oh, time for some coffee. The Dark Forest was not just a place, it was a presence. Watching, waiting, listening back. The silence was not stillness, it was a breath held at the edge of something ancient in a sense we cannot comprehend. The trees, impossibly tall, twisted towards a perpetually bruised sky. Their branches tangled in shapes that defied logic, their roots sink deep. Not just into the earth, but into something older, something beneath. Like something beneath the floor of the forest. Our predecessors had left behind their fragmented research, hollow journals, ancient paper ones, countless recordings, tomes of eldritch knowledge. They spoke of thin places, of forgotten packs, of whisperers curling through the trees, shaping nightmares in the minds of those who lingered too long. It gave my fears meaning. Meaning meant intent. And intent meant something was real. Because why the hell did I even sign up for this job in the first place? I just wanted a new start. I was tired of the same old dead-end gas station jobs that I loathed. Saw an ad online while looking for jobs that weren't absolutely soul-crushing and reeked of stale sweat, cheap booze, and nihilism that plagued my hometown. So I applied to university at the university where the job was posted. 3 weeks later, I was in the area, and I was at the area of Pluto that I never knew existed. I had never left Earth. And I started my first shift that day. Gig was pretty simple. Keep the scientific staff in communication with the facility while out in the field, and at night, keep the residents of the facility entertained with my stories. Excuse me, folks, while I take a sip of coffee. So I make it through my first day shift, sleeping during the afternoon, evening. Get up about 10 p.m. That time to get ready for the nighttime broadcast. Day shift is super boring. It's literally just click and listen, click and listen. Really simple stuff, if I'm being completely honest. But the first night shift would be the night that my life would completely change forever. Thing is, I didn't have any knowledge. Really, I knew those books existed, but I never had time to read them. My day shift kept me busy, and the radio shift is still keeps me busy. It wasn't until many, many years after that first night that I really read everything to understand more of what I was getting really into. It started all with a rumble I felt. Like that kind that you feel with a subsonic boom after a jet breaks the sound barrier. I was in the middle of reading my story when my whole body shook with that rumble, and I stopped what I was doing. I immediately broke protocol because what the hell causes a subsonic boom on a planet that we're the only first inhabitants of? So I broke the rule. I went outside. That was my first mistake. The moment I stepped outside, I was suddenly pulled 30 feet from the air. I didn't even see that some whatever grabbed me. And I blinked and I was being pulled immediately down to the bottom of the tree into a hole. It was pitch black and never ending. I couldn't scream. My whole body couldn't even feel anything. And the only thing it could feel was just pressure. And it was just like the will of the planet was pushing me into this hole. I woke up in a massive cavernous area. Taking a deep breath and realizing as I looked to my feel for my side, of course I dropped the flashlight. Start feeling my way around to try and find anything to anchor me reality. When all of a sudden the room's filled with a bright light, like that kind you forget flashbanged. And as soon as I opened my eyes, the room is just two chairs that look like, I don't know how to describe the style, but the best way I guess would be King Theoden's throne from the Two Towers, but made out of living, visually pulsating vines. As I closed, they radiate a presence that just was primordial, ancient, full of knowledge, and the most terrifying of them all, radiating calm. It's almost inviting me, even as every fiber of my fight or flight screaming to run. They're pulsating at my roots of my brain, triggered by the smell of this place. The smell was like rotting leaves and moss, like that deep, rotten odor of a cave, a log forgotten cave. I blink trying to take a look, another look at the chair. All of a sudden, I'm in the chair. I haven't walked, I haven't felt anything. I am in this chair at full posture, and there is a man sitting in front of me. I'm not sure this was a man. The more I think about it, after 20 years of thinking, I really think that man thing pretending to be a man was just the forest itself taking form to talk to me. Sorry, viewers. Thinking that triggers some memories. It's okay. You're good. You're good. 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. I count by numbers sometimes to help myself. Anything repeating numbers, touching my fingers, it helps me calm down. I apologize, again, viewers, for my stims. It can distract some people, but it does help me focus to tell you this story better. Let's get back to the story. As I'm in this chair, I look at this individual. He's in that black three-piece suit, but the black is it's pulsating. It's not physically. It's like a presence that just pulsates, that you know it's alive and ancient, powerful. He has a blood red crimson tie on top of a black shirt. His vest, each button has a completely diamond V on it. Oh, thinking about this, makes me ill. Like I said, the buttons with the V's. And he had a pocket watch, but it was all black, and it had that same silver V on it. His cufflinks had V's, and I'm just like, this most ostentatious douchebag. Before I can even utter those words, I'm wrapped, my hands are bound, my feet are bound, and my mouth is completely sealed shut. And this individual starts speaking. My name is Vlad. You must be young Xander McCloud, he says as he gets up to shake my hand firmly. I feel nothing but power and peace radiating from him. It scares the shit out of me. Now, you must be wondering why you're here. It's simple. He just sits there and smiles at me. You're here because the Dark Forest chose you before you were even a thought. It chose you to be its faithful servant, to keep its secrets, and to keep the beast locked away. I stammered out, beast? Servant? What the? And however I got to talk, I was immediately rebound. I couldn't make a sound. My heart was racing. Everything in my mind was pounding, wondering what the hell I gotten myself into. It's just a radio station. How did I get here? Vlad tisk at me. Now, let me finish. There are two ancient beings locked away here. Zahirashagyan and Dravaga. Again, if I shall pronounce it, it's Zahari Rashagan and Dravaga. They were all the fear, dread, panic, and not even that, really. They are simply destruction of the cosmic balanced scales. Yes, they are destruction. Oh, I'd love to think how wonderful their creations could be. What beautiful empires built of ash. Alas, I'm getting ahead of myself. My. What am I going to do with you? Now, your job is to make sure those scientists that you work for never find their seals. And make sure that they never find your seals, and more importantly, never break the 7 seals. If those seals are ever broken, existence is gone. Nothing. And reality reshaped in a way you humans cannot physically comprehend. And I don't want that. I much enjoy my life that I have here. So you're going to prevent that. And you make sure at your job, that as you are keeping these humans connected, cattle are silly. I find it very interesting that y'all just think that you're in charge of something that you don't truly understand. I mean, think about it. Do you think you really were in power here? Do you really think that you had any idea what you were really getting into? But no, you don't. You have absolutely no idea. And as payment, you'll receive a gift that you've never been given. And make sure when you're at your job, as I said, if you hear anything that sounds unnatural, shall we say, just make sure it doesn't get in your logs. And if for some reason you hear a sound, make sure the humans don't, because it calls to them. The two ancient ones call humans to break their seals. They want to be released. And I do not need that to happen. So, if you ask what your payment is, I nod my head, unable to speak or say anything. It's immortality. And as he says it, everything falls away, and I just stand there, completely shell-shocked at what I just heard. Immortality, like those horror movies? Yes. Unending life, free from all sickness. You'll never age a day. You'll have your body at its absolute peak forever, seeing the most imperceptible smile on this thin veneer of a human face. I say, what's the price? Contract as thick as a dictionary appears, with a long, thin silver needle, almost hair thin, floating right at the top of it. Just a drop of your blood is all of the seal of the deal, he says with that damn used cardsman smile. I don't trust him. This is going to bite me in the ass, I know it. But I take it anyway, get my finger pricked, and as the blood drops, I have no idea what my life is absolutely about to turn into. Thank you, Mr. McCloud. You are free to go back. We shall be in touch when we need you. Snaps fingers. I blink and I'm back in the radio station. I don't know how it got here. I don't know if this was even real. I grip the counter of the desk. Breathing. Wondering, was that real? Was it all a dream? I go to make a cup of coffee. I need to wake up. And there's a note. In beautiful black calligraphy on gold paper. Thank you, Mr. McCloud. I look forward to see you grow in your new role. Vlad. Well, I think to myself, it is what it is. It's real. So, I'm here. The dark side of Pluto, staring up at a completely perpetually scorched sky with stars every once in a while. Sitting here, making sure silence is what is heard and never noise. I go outside. For some reason, the forest feels calm, and I light a cigarette. And I just sit there and stare out into the forest, making sure it's all silent, never hearing a word. So here I remain, the faithful servant, wondering what exactly I got myself into, waiting with fear till I hear the call of that insidious bastard to fill my role once again. Forevermore shall I remain faithful to the Ancient Ones. Well, my fellow brethren, that is how I came to be in the Mas Las Paradise. I remain its faithful servant, forever intertwined to this dark forest. For when the forest calls, I must answer. Till our next gathering, fellow brethren. thank you everyone for listening to the first episode. It's been a privilege to make this. I just want to take time to thank the people who made this happen. I want to thank my partner. You know exactly everything that made this happen, and I could not be here without you. I love you. To my brothers, to my big brothers, thank you for believing me like you always did. I'm forever grateful for all you've done for me. To the Sturgeon Discord and Sturgeon community, guys, you are the absolute most awesome people I have ever had the privilege to call friends. Thank you for your support in these last couple of days. You just have all been awesome. Thank you. Thank you to my influences who inspired me to get into this field. TJ, Lucy, Dark Somnium, Villadith, and Ivy. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being such amazing people in this community to inspire just someone like me to do this. You guys are awesome. Thank you. And till next time, my brethren, gather at the forest.